Raising children without yelling, a psychological approach for parents. Introduction: Why yelling harms, emotional development. Parenting is one of the most rewarding yet challenging roles a person can take on. Every parent wants their child to grow into a confident, emotionally stable, and resilient individual. However, the journey is not without its difficulties. Moments of defiance, tantrums, and outright refusal to listen can test even the most patient of parents. And in those moments, many unconsciously resort to yelling as a way to establish authority and regain control. While yelling may seem effective in the short term, research suggests that it has long-term consequences on a child's emotional well-being and development. Studies in child psychology show that exposure to frequent yelling elevates stress hormones in children, making them more prone to anxiety, fear-driven responses, and even aggression. Instead of learning self-regulation, children raised in environments where yelling is common often develop reactive behavioral patterns, mirroring the same emotional outbursts they witness. But parenting does not have to feel like a constant struggle for control. There are alternative, more effective ways to guide children's behavior without resorting to yelling. Through calm yet firm discipline techniques, parents can create an environment where children feel secure, heard, and motivated to cooperate without fear or emotional distress. Understanding your child's behavior. The science behind resistance and defiance. Before exploring how to eliminate yelling from parenting, we must first understand the psychology behind a child's difficult behaviors. Defiance, tantrums, and resistance to rules are not merely signs of disobedience. They are expressions of unmet needs, frustration, or developmental learning processes. Young children lack emotional regulation. Unlike adults, children's brains are still developing the ability to process frustration and self-soothe. When denied something they desire or face a challenge, they experience a rush of emotions they do not yet know how to manage. Instead of viewing these moments as misbehavior, parents should see them as opportunities to teach emotional intelligence. Children crave independence, but fear losing connection. Many power struggles stem from a child's desire to feel autonomous while simultaneously wanting reassurance and emotional safety from their caregivers. When a parent reacts with yelling, the child interprets it as a rupture in their emotional connection, triggering anxiety and further resistance. Attention-seeking behaviors stem from an emotional void. Children do not act out because they enjoy frustrating parents. More often than not, they seek attention because they feel unheard or disconnected. If parents only react to negative behavior but rarely acknowledge positive moments, children learn that disruptive actions are the only way to get noticed. Understanding these psychological factors shifts the perspective from discipline through force to discipline through emotional guidance. Effective alternatives to yelling. How to discipline calmly and with authority. Eliminating yelling does not mean eliminating authority. Rather, it requires parents to replace reactive emotional outbursts with structured discipline techniques that teach responsibility, self-regulation, and respect. Use a calm but authoritative tone. Instead of yelling, lower your voice and speak more slowly. Research shows that children are more attentive to a calm voice as it signals confidence rather than emotional overwhelm. Make direct but respectful commands. Many parents unintentionally use vague or emotionally charged statements when disciplining. Instead, instructions should be clear, neutral, and structured. Why do you never listen to me? I need you to put your toys away before dinner starts. Give choices instead of orders. Children respond better when they feel a sense of control over their actions rather than feeling dictated to. Offering two acceptable choices creates cooperation rather than resistance. Would you like to clean up now or in 5 minutes? Do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue one? Implement logical consequences instead of punishment. Rather than using punishment, which often feels arbitrary and leads to resentment, parents should apply cause and effect consequences that make sense to the situation. If you don't listen, you're grounded. If the toys aren't cleaned up, we won't have time for a bedtime story tonight. When children see discipline as a logical outcome of their actions rather than an emotional reaction, they internalize responsibility without fear or hostility. Reinforce positive behavior more than correcting negative behavior. Children thrive when their good choices are acknowledged rather than just being punished when they make mistakes. Praising efforts, even small ones, encourages a natural shift toward more cooperative behavior. Managing parental emotions. The key to peaceful parenting. Even with all the best techniques, there will still be moments where frustration builds up. Parenting is demanding, and staying calm requires intentional self-regulation strategies. Pause before reacting. Before responding to a frustrating situation, take 5 deep breaths to reset emotional intensity. Identify personal triggers. Reflect on which behaviors cause the strongest emotional reactions and create a plan before they occur. Model emotional regulation. Children learn how to manage frustration by watching their caregivers. If they see calm, thoughtful responses, they will mirror the same emotional strategies. Use mindfulness techniques. Small resets like stepping away briefly, repeating calming affirmations, or changing posture help shift from reactive to intentional parenting. When parents regulate their emotions, they establish an environment of emotional safety, which dramatically reduces power struggles, yelling, and behavioral conflicts. Real-life transformations. How parents shifted from yelling to peaceful guidance. Many parents initially feel that yelling is necessary to maintain discipline. However, those who transition to peaceful discipline methods often see rapid improvements in both behavior and emotional connection. One such approach is the philosophy practiced by Seeds of Tomorrow, a parenting psychology framework that integrates calm discipline techniques with emotional intelligence coaching. Over time, parents using this approach have reported stronger emotional trust and more cooperative responses from their children. Reduce tension in the household, making parenting more enjoyable. Children displaying better self-regulation and problem-solving skills. Success stories show that change is possible, and even small shifts toward calmer communication lead to lasting improvements in parent-child relationships. Conclusion: why peaceful parenting creates lasting change. Discipline does not require yelling, force, or intimidation. It requires consistency, emotional intelligence, and structured guidance. Calm discipline strengthens a child's self-regulation and emotional intelligence. Parents who regulate their own emotions foster healthier communication and trust firm boundaries and logical consequences, establish authority without fear-driven reactions. By shifting from anger-driven discipline to emotion-centered guidance, parents build long-term relationships rooted in understanding and cooperation.